Under the cover of darkness, in the early hours of July 25, 2025, U.S. Central Command launched a daring and precision-guided raid deep in northern Syria. The target, a senior ISIS leader whose operations threatened stability across the Middle East and beyond. This mission would become one of the most significant U.S. counterterrorism triumphs of the year, executed with precision, courage, and zero casualties. This mission would become one of the most significant U.S. counterterrorism triumphs of the year, executed with precision, courage, and zero casualties. To understand why this raid mattered, we need to step back. The fall of the ISIS Caliphate in 2019 was a major victory, but it wasn't the end of the war. Instead, the organization mutated. Stripped of its territory, ISIS transformed from a pseudo-state into a clandestine global insurgency. It became a hydra-headed monster with its leadership dispersed and its ideology spreading virally through the dark corners of the internet. The new battlefield was everywhere and nowhere, a shadow war fought against a decentralized terror network. Senior leaders no longer commanding armies in the open now hide among civilian populations. From unassuming houses and crowded cities, they leverage encrypted communication and a network of couriers to recruit vulnerable individuals, finance operations, and plot devastating attacks against targets worldwide. For intelligence agencies, tracking these ghost-like figures is a monumental task. They are needles in a haystack, protected by the very communities they seek to terrorize. After months of painstaking intelligence gathering, U.S. intelligence identified one such critical figure, Dia Zalba Musli al-Hardani. He wasn't just another foot soldier. Al-Hardani was a high-level ISIS operative, a key facilitator and bomb maker responsible for coordinating multiple terror cells across northern Syria. Operating with his two sons, he formed a family-based unit, a structure built on absolute trust, making it nearly impossible to penetrate. This cell specialized in logistics and financing for sleeper agents plotting IED attacks and assassinations against both coalition forces and their local Syrian Democratic Forces partners. Their base of operations was Al-Bab, a bustling town in Aleppo province. Nominally under the control of the Turkish-backed Syrian opposition, the area is a volatile patchwork of competing factions, criminal gangs, and displaced civilians. It's a chaotic environment where an ISIS commander can easily disappear. The high civilian density meant any military action carried an immense risk of collateral damage. A stray bullet could kill an innocent and create a major international incident. Therefore, the mission to capture or kill al-Hardani couldn't be a conventional assault. It demanded a plan of almost impossible complexity and surgical precision where every variable was accounted for and there was zero room for error. The mission to neutralize the high-value ISIS leader was born from weeks of intense, meticulous planning within U.S. Central Command. The stakes were immense. Success would cripple a key terror network. Intelligence analysts worked around the clock, fusing a complex puzzle of signals, intelligence, human sources, and constant covert observation. This wasn't just about finding the target, it was about understanding his entire ecosystem to ensure a precise and effective strike. For weeks, reconnaissance drones maintained a persistent 24/7 watch over the target compound. Analysts meticulously studied the pattern of life, identifying the leader's routines, his key associates, and crucially, the presence of non-combatants. This detailed intelligence was the foundation of the entire operation, allowing planners to choose the exact moment to strike for maximum effect and minimal risk to innocent life. Positive identification was paramount. The operational environment in Syria demanded a complex diplomatic dance with both the Syrian Democratic Forces and the Syrian Transitional Government. This delicate alliance was vital for securing access and local support. After weighing all options, planners chose a high-altitude parachute insertion. This method offered the best chance of achieving total surprise, avoiding the early warning a helicopter or ground assault might trigger. It was a high-risk maneuver, demanding flawless execution. For this task, only elite special operations forces, trained for the most dangerous direct action missions, were selected. Their objectives were crystal clear. First, capture or kill the ISIS leader and his operatives. Second, and equally important, guarantee the safety of all civilians. This principle dictated the strict rules of engagement and the choice of weaponry. Third, minimize all risk to the assault force and their partners. With multiple contingency plans for extraction and medical support in place, the team was ready. The time for planning was over. The mission was a go. The operation was the culmination of weeks of painstaking intelligence work. Once confirmed, the mission was a go. Shortly before dawn, a small team of elite operators deployed from a C-130 transport aircraft, conducting a high-altitude, low-opening parachute jump into the dark outskirts of Al-Bab. This stealthy insertion was critical to maintaining the element of surprise. As they descended, a network of support assets was already in place. Surveillance drones maintained persistent overhead coverage, feeding a live God's-eye view back to the command element. Simultaneously, electronic warfare units activated, creating a digital bubble around the objective. They jammed all enemy communications, isolating the compound and preventing any calls for reinforcements. Upon landing, the team silently regrouped, a process honed by countless hours of training. They moved swiftly and with purpose through the broken terrain toward the target compound. Every operator was equipped with advanced night vision and sound-suppressed weapons, rendering them virtually invisible and silent in the pre-dawn gloom. Reaching the primary entry point, they prepared to breach. A specialized charge was placed, designed for a quick explosive entry with minimal fragmentation. The detonation was the signal. In a surge of controlled violence, the team flooded into the building, their movements fluid and precise as they began clearing the structure room by room. The operation was an act of overwhelming speed and aggression, designed to disorient and neutralize any resistance instantly. The engagement was brief and decisive. Dia, Zauba Musli al-Hardani, and his two sons, both identified combatants, were killed during the raid. The kinetic portion of the mission was over in minutes. Immediately, the team transitioned to the primary objective, sensitive site exploitation. They methodically collected all documents, laptops, and electronic devices, the vital intelligence that was the true prize. Throughout the raid, the operators' professionalism ensured the safety of non-combatants. No civilians or U.S. personnel were harmed. Nearby residents, awakened by the muffled sound of helicopters and distant suppressed gunfire, later described the astonishing precision and speed of the mission. As the sun began to rise, helicopters descended for extraction. The seized intelligence was rushed to coalition partners for immediate analysis. This wasn't just about confirming a single target's identity. It was about exploiting a treasure trove of data to map, understand, and ultimately dismantle the wider terrorist network. CENTCOM Commander General Michael Eric Kurilla released a statement. "We will continue to relentlessly pursue ISIS terrorists wherever they operate. ISIS terrorists are not safe where they sleep, where they operate, and where they hide." This mission sent a clear message. Despite years of counter-ISIS operations, the U.S. remains committed to dismantling terror networks globally. The death of Hardani is expected to disrupt ISIS's regional operations significantly, especially its recruitment and funding pipelines. The death of Hardani is expected to disrupt ISIS's regional operations significantly, especially its recruitment and funding pipelines. This raid reflects a broader, more surgical U.S. military strategy. Limited, high-precision operations instead of large-scale troop deployments, minimizing risk and collateral damage. Crucially, it demonstrates the effectiveness of strong coalition building and the critical role of advanced, shared intelligence in achieving mission success. For locals in Syria, these targeted missions significantly reduce the threat of extremist resurgence. For Americans, they proactively prevent future attacks on U.S. soil or against key allies abroad. From meticulous planning to flawless execution, this July 2025 raid stands as a testament to U.S. military capability, coalition strength, and unwavering commitment to global security. As General Kurilla made clear, no matter where they hide, those who threaten peace will face justice. This is a victory not just for the U.S., but for all who value freedom and safety.